check it.
You're the one who said that if you have a question.
Yeah, hit me.
So mentioning what you said about the SEO and how expensive it can be, I had that conversation with a lot of developers.
Yeah.
And the thing that what I got, I'm not sure if this is correct, but as long as using it, that generated context from ChatGPT or whatever AI is not really ranking, and Google could really kind of catch it, that it is militarized and things like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
So, and again, I mean no disrespect to anybody who does copywriting. Copywriting is a skill. I have hired copywriters and had them and paid a lot of money for things, especially when it comes to things like video scripts and all those types of things. The answer to that is Google's rule is content has to be 51% original. So the words cannot be in an exact form somewhere else in a matter of comparing them 50 to 50. And it doesn't care. Google doesn't care. So Google's algorithm is called EAT, and it's basically just means that it needs to provide value. So the way that they're measuring whether or not you rank is, did this content answer the person's question when they searched on Google? Because as Google, I don't want to send people to content that doesn't answer their questions because it devalues my platform. So the way that it measures that is, good. Easiest example is, let's say I search for your immigration consulting. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's what you call it. Yeah. If someone searched for immigration consultant Coquitlam, went to your site or searched, you came up, went to your site, immediately hit the back button, clicked on the second ranking article, spent more time on that site than yours, Google's now giving them more authority than you because their content obviously answered, well, in Google's mind answered their question. So no, ChatGPT is perfectly fine for SEO. Absolutely, yeah. SEO is very thousands a month for businesses sometimes, especially in a very competitive sector. You get into things like medical, law, those types of things, accounting, taxes are a big one. It can get very expensive to outrank some of those big players. So it can get really expensive. The other thing I'll just mention about SEO, and this was not a talk about SEO, we do that another time, is the issue that I generally have with small SEO engagements where it's just for a short period of time with someone is you need to continually be building content consistently on your website and getting backlinks. So you need to create processes so you can do it yourself. You can bring in experts if you need them periodically, but you need to be able to do it yourself. So there's some things that you can use ChatGPT for right now, and hopefully there'll be some takeaways here for all of you, is research, communication, social media management, marketing, online advertising, and then of course, SEO. Prompt engineering. Prompt engineering has now become a job title and a very high paying job title at marketing agencies. Almost every marketing agency is using ChatGPT to write content that they're selling to their clients now. And it's just the way it is. And that's how it's going to be. I assist businesses with this through my marketing agency, but I'm very transparent. I tell them, this is why I'm charging you this much to create these blog posts. It's because I use AI and I spend 10 minutes on your article, not 4 hours. If you want to hire a copywriter, I fully encourage that. You're going to get way better branded content, but that's not what I do. So prompt engineering is, like you mentioned earlier, is the skill of being able to query AI tools so that the content you get back from them is valuable and can actually be utilized by your business. So when it comes to research, I do this all the time. All the time when I'm working on creative briefs, especially at the university. We'll have to, no, actually, I'll talk about that after. When I'm working at the university, I do these all the time because over time, I realized that the data here is very, very accurate. So I created a panel first. So when you pay for ChatGPT, it's $20 a month. It contextually remembers all of your threads with it and it understands what you've been asking it. So you can have like a project that could go over a year if you wanted to. So I asked ChatGPT to generate a panel of potential counseling patients in Coquitlam, BC, between the ages of 25 and 40. So it created these 3 people for me, these fictional people based on all the data that it has of people in Coquitlam or the area are searching for a counselor in Coquitlam. So it created Sarah, 32, Ryan, 28, Emily, 35. And then it gave me some information on them. Like, so Sarah's dealing with high levels of stress and anxiety related to her demanding job in marketing. A lot of us know that. She's been experiencing difficulty in maintaining a work-life balance and seeking counseling to developing coping strategies. Been there, Sarah. Ryan, recently separated from his long-term partner and struggling to cope with the emotional aftermath. Hey, I've been there too, Ryan. Emily, married for 7 years. Her and her husband are facing communication issues and decline in emotional intimacy. Haven't been there. But yeah, so you can see what it did is it created these personas based on what people are searching for. It's been proven that it looks at everything like social media profiles, Reddit, and that's how it builds these out. Scary, yes, but it's there. So why not use it? Yeah.
So what you're saying, it does each like the paid version, right?
Mhm.
Even if you're using the option of the 3.5, it still keeps your what the previous querying it.
You can tell it not to, but it by default, yes.
No, but like I have a paid version.
Yeah.
Right? I usually use the 3.5 unless I really need it to be super accurate because of the there's the chat back and forth limit that they
Yes.
sometimes impose, right?
On the 4.0.
On the
Yes.
4.0.
3.5 is fine.
When I'm
Yes,
using
sir.
3.5, it still keeps it if I want.
Yes, yeah. Then took it for, oh, yeah, sorry. If you scan this, it'll bring you to a page where I show you the entire thread with ChatGPT of how I asked this panel questions. But I essentially, I then asked the panel, what's the most important attribute of a potential counselor? And then it gave me a bunch of information. So this is the critical part in my process for doing a creative brief, because this is where I get information like, okay, are there channels that I'm not thinking about using that I want to present to the team that we should run ads on? Is there content that we're not currently creating that we should be creating? Or are there just things that I'm not thinking about? Because, you know, I'm a 40-year-old male and I'm doing marketing for a counselor. I'm not necessarily in the position to be an expert on their potential audience. So again, you can see the output. So Sarah explained that for me, the most important thing is when finding a new counselor is their ability to provide practical coping strategies for stress and anxiety. But a big thing that I pulled out of this was that the focus for these three people when it came to counseling didn't mention costs. And I thought that would be something that it mentioned. So my immediate question out of this process was, okay, none of them are telling me costs. Is that right? And then I started Googling and I realized it is for a small segment. Like when you look at the Google searches of what people are searching for, very few people are searching for cheap counselor. Like it's not happening, right? I would, but most people aren't. But that was something for me. And this is just an example, right?
Now I get it.
Yeah, right. That's why I'm all, but that's, and this is just one example, right? It could be any sector that you're looking at, and just things pop out at you that really help you with that process. So again, ChatGPT is not solving every issue for me in this case, but it just helped me. Like I now have data I can take to the team. Why are we not mentioning price? Well, I did this panel and then I looked at Google searches. People aren't searching for cheap counselor or pricing on counselor. So it was a valuable insight. Last thing I did was I asked them all, how do you find a counselor? And they all came back with referrals from friends and things like that and online reviews. So as a marketer, if I was working for a counselor, one of the strategies I would be proposing is you got to get your Google reviews up. You got to get reviews on your website and testimonials, all that type of stuff, right? It's very, very important. It's important for most businesses, but it's very important for this segment of target audience. Okay, communication. I use this all the time, especially if I'm dealing with a difficult person. As a test, with my team at the university, we use Microsoft Teams to communicate. We have a group chat, and I only spoke to them all in the group chat with ChatGPT for an entire day. Like they asked me questions all day long, and I would have ChatGPT respond. It was a horrible experience. You don't want to do that. But for writing emails, I almost always use it. I'm a person. I have a 3-minute delay in Outlook because I am very impulsive and reactive. So if someone sends me an email that pisses me off, I will normally send them something that could potentially get me fired. So what I've now done is I have a 3-minute delay. And so I hit send, but it doesn't send for 3 minutes because then I can spend that 3 minutes really debating internally if I want that email to end up there. And I get like 70% of my emails I pull them back and I change them. So I started using this. It's helped me a big time. Even if, even I just can come across rude sometimes and I've just accepted it. It's not that I want to be, it's just my tone, I guess. But I use this as an example of, I run a commercial cleaning company and I received an email from a customer telling me that my staff left a lot of dirt behind one of the doors between it when it was fully open. So the wall, you open a door. I'm telling you this because when my son was first born 10 years ago, and I was struggling financially. I started a cleaning company at night. So this was an actual thing that happened to me. I was a janitor at places like this in the evening. So this is something that happened to me like 10 years ago. But you know, when a door opens, there's that gap between the door and the wall. Missed that spot. Client was our customer was very upset. I didn't use ChatGPT that back then. I probably said, fire me or something, like I said, and they probably fired me. But then it just helped me write this email in a professional manner. We're not all equipped to do this. I know I'm not, so I can write some things, but ChatGPT helps me with that. So social media content. If you scan this QR code, going back to what we talked about earlier, a lot of people don't want to sign up for ChatGPT. There's that hesitancy. So I was thinking, okay, what can I do for my business for lead gen to help people test it? So what I did is I used that OpenAI ChatGPT API, and I prompt engineered some queries. And what this tool will do is it will allow you to use my website. And it does ask for your email. You can put in a fake email if you want. I use it for lead gen, but it does that just because I don't want people taking advantage of it, because I pay for every. Feel free, you're all welcome. It's only like 0.3 cents or something for each usage. But I pay for every query to the API. So what I've done is I've set up a form that you can fill out a few simple things just generally and not have to worry about how you're talking to ChatGPT. And then the output is prompt engineered by me to develop a beautiful social media post for your company. So feel free to use it. It's pretty cool. A friend of mine owns a welding company. He uses my tool all the time. He doesn't want to use ChatGPT. So if he needs to do a social post, he'll use that. Feel free to bookmark.
What is it based on?
What I built. Hold on, let me okay, I'll do one right now.
Like
What's the prompts? I'll show you. Oh, are you? Okay, so what I've done is my secret sauce that I will not give you is the language I've used to query ChatGPT with the input you've given me to get a good social post. I can if you want to email me, I'll send it to you. But yeah, it's through ChatGPT's API. So it's my sites with the script is talking to ChatGPT through their API, pulling the data back. And I mean, for marketing companies, this is an affordable way to do lead gen, right? Like, hey, you want to generate something, you want to do something, put it on your website, ask for an email address. You know, mine gets used like 100 times a month. So that goes into my CRM. I email them, things like that, part of my sales process. But yeah, it'll generate, so my company's HQ office workspaces, right? HQ workspaces, sorry. What are you selling? Beautifully designed, shared office space. What is your product special? We focus on customer service and premium office at an affordable price point.
I don't know, you had a hosting error?
You had a hosting error?
Yeah.
Oh, it could be that everyone's using it at the same time. Let's see if mine works. Yeah, it writes so it'll write a post for you, and then there's a mechanism to quickly copy it to your clipboard. So if you're on your phone, you see the button, now you can paste it into Facebook or Instagram or whatever. We'll see if this works. It should work. It usually doesn't take this much time unless it's waiting. But not right now, what's happening while those dots are, yeah, there it goes. So what was happening while those dots were running is my script's talking to ChatGPT to get the most optimal output. So then it created this social post for you. Come on, if you want that, feel free. It's beautifully done.
What's the QR code?
If you just go to dienodigital.com and then hit on the menu, it'll say social media generator. Okay. It's pretty good, right? Yeah. I spent a good amount of time on it. So that's good to hear. Thank you. That type of feedback's great. It's my last question. I'm hoping you guys could all fill out. Just the type of marketing tactics that you're using. But, and feel free to use that social media generator whenever you want, if you want to test it out.
Maybe I have this marketing thing I'm using, it's called Be Human. And I just record myself once and it uses AI to change the name. So I just say, hey, name, this is Tim, I do marketing services. And it goes like, hey, Luke, hey, and it sounds exactly like me.
Yeah,
So I could just mass email
email
all
people.
my
Yeah.
prospects.
So I have, Jay-Z once said that he has the gift and the curse. I'm a hip hop guy, so he said that he can't listen to the radio because when he listens to rap music, he can hear the metronomes and things like that. So I have the gift and the curse. If you were to send me that video, I'd be like, I know that this was done with AI because I can just tell. And then I'd be like, but you're the 99% of the people out there, you're right, 100%.
I would say like probably 75 to 80% would believe that it's like
Real,
created.
100%. Yeah, probably more. It's probably higher.
If you zoom in, you can kind of see my face, my mouth black.
Oh, like on that one where the name is said? Yeah, yeah. But the average person's not seeing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very
I don't know
cool.
how they cut it out and they like, you know, like a puppet.
Yeah.
They use-
Right, yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, great for a sales process, right? Like if you've got warm leads. But it's gonna get interesting because it's like anything, right? Like with self-publishing books on Amazon, for example, almost like killed the independent author market because anyone can publish a book on Amazon and sell a hard copy now. So that independent sector kind of got totaled. And if all of a sudden every salesperson in the world is using that tool, and now we're all getting those videos, do those videos now become nothing to us, right? And now you got to figure out the next way. And now is it really, I want to see a video of you wearing a shirt that says my name on it or something before I react, right? So it's going to be interesting for sure. But we're in that Wild West stage, right? Like it's like when Google Ads first launched, they were dirt cheap. Anyone who used Google Ads for that first 3 or 4 years made tons of money because they were so cheap. No one wanted to do it. Granted, this is the 90s. But it's the same thing. Right now is the time to take advantage of it, right?
Isn't it expensive right now?
Oh, yeah. LinkedIn's the worst though. LinkedIn ads are the absolute worst. They're a premium. So online advertising, I use this as well. I have ChatGPT write headlines and descriptions for ads all the time. Change them a little bit, brings up things I never thought about. Because you have to remember what ChatGPT is doing is it's been collecting data on ads for years across all these platforms. And now it contextually understands what ads work, what ads don't work, what ads surface, what ads people click on, all that type of stuff is in the algorithm. So it's giving you the best output possible. Again, going back to the research, ChatGPT Pro, the paid version is still a year behind. So its data is from 2022, but you can see where this is heading. Does anyone remember a search engine called Ask Jeeves? You're probably all way too. Yeah. So the first search engine there was Yahoo, Google was in its infancy, and then Ask Jeeves was there. And Ask Jeeves was this weird looking dude. And you'd ask him a question. You wouldn't type in like a keyword. You'd say like, I want to know how to do this. How do I do this? And Ask Jeeves tanked. It bankrupted because people were like, why do I want to ask the internet a question? It's so stupid. And now here we are asking the freaking internet questions, right? So you can see where this is headed. The future of search is going to be AI. Like Google's already utilizing it. You can even tell in the way Google's surfacing things, the way we even search. Before ChatGPT blew up, the search data was all showing that everyone's searching on Google. How do I do this? Who is doing this? How can I be this? Where do I find this? So AI is just going to continually be getting more and more integrated with those engines. But a good example here is like I asked it, I want to know the top 10 competitors for custom printing companies in Vancouver, BC. So it gave me the 10. Now how it's basing though that top 10 in the back end is on things like Google reviews, Yelp reviews, if applicable, how many times they're mentioned, how well their website's ranking, stuff like that, right? So it's all data. It's not a human, but it gives you a good idea. So if you're doing research and you want to find out, who do I want to target? This gives you it gives you a good idea. And then obviously you can use this data in other ways too, right? Like we talked about SEO and yes, Ernie.
It's a whole ChatGPT environment and the way people are approaching looking for stuff, kind of changing the structure of websites too.
Yes.
So I find myself very impatient when I go to a website that's got copious amounts of pictures and where this, where that, it's like, yeah, I want to know the nuts and bolts of.
Yeah.
So how does that change?
So from in our space, we're balancing now the visual branding with the informational value. So it's almost like you have to do both now, because if a customer's in, or potential customer or prospect is in the stage of I'm doing discovery, so that bottom of the funnel, top of the funnel, when they're just looking, that's when you still want that design and that branding, granted less, because attention spans are less. But then when people are in I need information now mode, they don't want to see all that crap. So you have to have it both. So what Google's doing to answer that is they're using snippets. So if your website can quickly answer a question in its copy and someone asks that question and you're indexing properly, they won't even go to your website. It'll just show your website and show the answer. And that's where you want to be in those top 5 answers. Yes.
Sorry, you continue.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Interrupt.
Well, that's the thing, it's like, why invest so much money in SEO now? When literally like the Bing browser has a default that where you just search, ask the question and get that information later.
Yeah, my belief is that and it's obviously I'm selfish because I'm in the space, but my belief is that we can't forget how Google and Bing, because Bing has ads, generate revenue. They'll always have ads to websites. So whether it's indexing organically for SEO or paid ads, the relevancy and the value that your website provides can bring down your cost per click even on ads. So I won't get into the full details, but there's a bidding process, right? So when you do a Google search and you search for a keyword, there's an auction that happens in a split second in the back end of the site, in the back end of Google. And it's not who's willing to pay the most that just factors who gets shown first. It's who's willing to pay the most, who has the most authority in the space and gets visited organically, and who has the best designed and positioned landing page. So that's all happening in that split second. So I don't think they're going to let it go that far. They're in the same wild west that everyone else is. They're figuring it out. And if Bing stops driving people to websites through their ads, they're going to lose that revenue. So it's they're going to figure all that out in the next little bit here. It's a crazy time in tech. So again, just a little bit more research relating to ads. If you're doing everything yourself, it's a great place to ask, like, hey, like, where should I be marketing my company? Where should I be marketing this service or products? It goes out and it does a discovery on all the platforms of where others are running ads and things like that. It gives you some of that input. Okay, this is the one so I mentioned this earlier. This is my tech stack. And if anyone's interested, again, shoot me an email and I can send you a video I've created on me going through this entire process. But this is my tech stack on how I create content to rank on Google. And again, like I said, the few clients that I do this for, because I'm not really in the content writing space. I'm fully transparent with them. AI does 95% of the work. I tweak it. I send to you for approval. I publish it. This is what I use. So I start with Google Ads Planner. If you're not running Google Ads, you can still sign up at Google AdWords for free. And there's a tool within AdWords that not everybody knows. It's called Keyword Planner. And what that lets you do is look at a geographical area and understand search behavior. So it gives you volume and how many searches are happening per month per keyword. So that's how I first determine what are people searching for, right? If people are searching for something on Google, it means that there's a demand for it, right? And that includes YouTube searches, everything related to Google. I then take that to Surfer, which is a tool that I mentioned before, which is what goes out and tells you what you need to incorporate into your content. And I tail a keyword around the keyword I want to focus on, and I input it into Surfer and I say, tell me what I need to do for this article to rank in this city. Surfer then builds out the structure and says you need to have all these keywords. I then go to ChatGPT. I've engineered a prompt to start the process that I use every time about writing a blog post, how many words, how many paragraphs, how many titles. You do it once, right? And then you can reuse that. And then I copy all those keywords and the amount of times that they need to be entered into ChatGPT as well. And I say, write this article. And then I say, and include all these keywords this many times. ChatGPT churns for a little bit, spends some time. Sometimes I go back and forth with it a little bit. And now I have a blog post that's been written. I then copy and paste that back into Surfer. Surfer then analyzes it and either says, well, you should probably do this or add these words, or you're good to go. And it tells you with a little meter that says, once you're in the green, you're ready to rank. Copy it. I go through it, spend 10 minutes reading it, change a couple words if it doesn't impact SEO, publish it on my website. It's worked every time for me. They've always ranked. Of course, there's other things to SEO like backlinking, Google reviews, Google Maps, Google My Business. But from a content perspective, it works every time. It takes me about 20 minutes to 30 minutes to do an article. If it's a very complex one, for a very simple and easy to target keyword, it takes about 5 to 10 minutes. For someone that doesn't write, it has drastically helped me, right? So yeah, that's my stack. Feel free to steal it. That's my sauce. And also follow up with me if you want to see a video of me running you through the whole process. You have to listen to this same raspy, geeky voice for about 25 minutes. And I believe I had some rum at the time too, which makes it a little fun. But I can send that to you if you would like to see that process.
Let me add, I'm not sure if that will be useful to you or not, but it's just useful for me. So another step after the generation of the content of ChatGPT, there's a tool called Word AI.
Yeah, Word Hero is similar to that too. Yeah. There, yeah.
I would
Gives it one last review, right? And addition tone.
it's also for, there are two kind of sections. So if you don't want that to be called as an AI text, it kind of avoid something. So it doesn't look like an AI.
Yeah, no, for sure. What I've done over time too is you'll notice that ChatGPT says the same thing all the time. Like if you ask it to write a blog article, it always puts in conclusion at the bottom. And it's like, nobody says in conclusion. So I tell it to not do that. So like over time, as I chipped away at it, my initial prompt that I send it, I say like, do not write in conclusion. Like I put all those types of rules in it, but yeah, running it through another tool to de-AI it is always a good idea. Yeah.
The Hero AI?
Word AI.
There's also Word Hero too, which is another one. It's very similar. Yeah. This is an example of keyword planner. I think this relates to you. So this is Coquitlam and how many searches per month for immigration consultant. And like I said, sign up for AdWords. It's a free account. You don't need to spend money with ads. Tools, keyword planner, type in your keyword. You can select the area you want to target and it'll come back and tell you how many people are searching for what keywords and also give you ideas of keywords. It's the end of it. It's an hour and 10 minutes isn't too bad. Anyone who feel this is just a survey, I always do these. I like to understand who's there. You will not get emails about sales from me. I promise it's not my style. But I do this at the end of every workshop or whatever. Fill it out, provide some insights. It helps me work on these. And I'll draw somebody probably tonight and send you over a digital Starbucks gift card. Yeah, I messaged them on last night. I'm at like 50 slides. I don't know if it worked out okay. Pizza time, I guess.
Yes.
Anybody have any other questions? Yeah.
There an AI that builds websites?
There's I should have shown that one. I'm hesitant to show it obviously because you eat my business, man. But no, it's good. It's not going to take you from start to finish. But yeah, so there's a new WordPress AI tool. So what it does is it asks you a bunch of questions and says, what's your business about? You ask for your basic information, like an agency would if they onboarded you to build a website. And then it goes out and it picks a theme for you. And then it restyles the theme. And then it gets ChatGPT to write all your copy. Then it adds the copy and then it has a website. But again, when you get into things like SEO, functionality and stuff like that, it has some issues, but like for someone that just wants, hey, I got an idea, or I have a business and I have no money for a website, go like 100%. You still have to figure out how to host it, how to set up your DNS, your domain and all that stuff. But yes, they're there, and they'll be better. They'll get better. Like WordPress as a platform now has already incorporated AI. So like when you go to write a blog post, it actually says, hey, do you want me to help you write this? Same with LinkedIn. If anyone uses LinkedIn, I use LinkedIn a lot. When you go to post on LinkedIn now, there's an AI button that says, hey, I can help you write this for you. I can write this for you, essentially. Just tell me a little bit about it. So yeah, so that was a long-winded answer, but yes, they're trying to do that for sure. And videos too, there's everything, right? And as if ChatGPT can output and all these other platforms can create visuals, then there's no reason they can't piece them all together. Any other? Oh, more.
Unless someone has.
No, I'll go for it. It'll be the marketing guy for
What
sure.
about, like voice AI, like have you seen companies utilize that, Air AI, have you heard that, have you seen that?
The only voice AI that I've used to date is I got into a fight with some raccoons a couple weeks ago with my dog. And then I wrote the story out and I had it recited by Snoop Dogg. So that's the only AI that I've used. It's an epic story. It's on my YouTube channel. I beat the shit out of those raccoons. Yeah. Sorry,
Are
Ernie.
you wrapped to them?
No, I beat them up with a broom because they attacked my dog and tried to bite me. So I shooed them off sorry to any PETA lovers. I love animals. I have dogs and cats, but I pool stick them off the balcony. But no, so what's your experience with this? Sorry.
Well, I'm just trying, cause like I get a lot of leads for my mortgage brokers, and it's impossible for them to just like sit down, and call all the time. It's, like people that haven't booked appointments. And so, there is this company that I like made a scenario with, and I built the prompt out and like recorded it, and it's insane. Like the objective for it is to just find out if the person's like available. But it doesn't sound like a robot. It sounds like a female, or a male, whatever. And yeah, it's really interesting. But the thing is, to buy a license for it is $25,000.
Yeah.
Plus, like, usually 11 cents per minute, per minute. So
is this tool phoning people?
it's phoning people. So you can call like literally 10,000 people in 1 minute.
And does it contextually understand their response?
It does.
Yeah.
And I was like, what does a mortgage broker do? And it's like, they evaluate their broker, they like really accurate information.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. And then I'm like, how can I like get a date tonight? And it's like, sorry, but I don't want to. I can't provide you with anything other than mortgage related information. Sorry.
Oh yeah. So it understood
And
that.
then it would kind of actually make a joke out of it.
Yeah. It's like a human.
Just following on that, is AI being used for cold calling?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I did receive a phone call last week, I believe. So
Was it Pierre Polyev?
no. You could catch up. Like there's a delay, perhaps.
Yeah.
Millisecond, and you can kind of tell, right?
Right
Because
now, yeah.
if you make phone calls,
Yeah. Your generation and our generations can tell,
yeah.
but like my grandpa still got ripped off by a guy over in India.
But it was, I don't know, 95%, 95 to 97% accurate.
Yeah.
The problem is that like it's either too short and okay, it's a robot, or it's too long and you're like kind of awkward silence to it, right? So
I knew it was a robot because I started making like weird questions, nothing to do with the conversation.
yeah.
So I asked something else, and it will come back again with.
But the interesting thing to think about is, do we get to a point where that's just acceptable? Like that we just know that we're talking to AI,
Well, so
right?
this is interesting. I'm like, are you a robot? And I'm sorry, is my hesitation in my answers considering that I'm a robot?
Exactly.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I am a human. I'm actually just here to
I
like.
have that on LinkedIn. I've got that on LinkedIn for sure, where it like seems like you're talking to somebody, but I'm like, no.
Oh, yeah, those
You
are AI, yeah.
like 100%, right? You want, yeah. They're like,
I mean, I don't know if-
not like not talking about like a chat box in the corner. Somebody in my inbox like messaging me, and it looks like it's live, but I'm like, I know
It's an AI,
Yeah.
You would really benefit from it though. If someone calls you and it's like, I have issues with.
I'm hanging.
stuff,"
I mean,
like,
nobody's.
I think though that the thing to think about those is you brought up a good point, and so it lied to you, right? So that's a problem. So we have these people out there that will use AI to do wrong and bad things. And that sucks. Not everyone agrees that it sucks, but like, I would never want an AI tool lying to a prospective client personally for my business, because that's just not, I don't want that, right? So there are things that we have to work through. But I also think, I do think we'll get to a point where it's just, that's what it is. Like, I'm talking to AI and I know that. And that's like,
Your
So-
one survey though, you did, said 50% social media, 50% of people in this room are so cold calling.
yes,
So to me, the age old thing, hey, about this whole digital dial thing, I think it's a bunch of crap. Like, I hate being interrupted, you know, my time with a robocall.
right.
Whether it's a delay or no delay, I think it actually does more ill will than goodwill.
Yeah.
But besides the point, the age old question for me, I'm a little older than you guys, is cold calling is fine, but it's how do you get the door open? And social media has some ability to open the door, but it's still not there. It's still in the old fashioned of sending a leader box, a door opener box of goodies. Hey, and follow that up with a call that's still more effective than SEO and cheaper. So
Yes, in some sectors.
What I
Yes,
struggle
yeah.
with is the amount of money that gets dumped into SEO. Whereas word of mouth marketing, or if you have a website that's super slick, functional, like we're talking about, wanting to search, it's a functional, really good search engine. That has more positive effect, I think, sometimes than, you know, all the cold calling in the world or all the SEO in the world.
Yeah, I think I agree. So I learned after, I think I was trying to write a book once about how many websites I built that I thought were going to make me a millionaire. Because in high school, I ended up on the news for starting a web hosting company in the 90s, and I thought I was going to be a millionaire, and it didn't happen. The idea of build it and they will come is we, as you go through business and you have a career, you know that's not real, right? I think it depends on the sector. I think SEO has its place. Like, if you're in a B2B space, like B2B SEO has never really worked. Like, it's good to be there, but if I like, so my part of my business model is other agencies, other design web agencies subcontract me to be their dev and their tech team. I've never had someone inbound through my website turn into a profitable relationship. Like, it very rarely, right? I've created those relationships old school. I've gone to meetings, I've gone to networking events, I've done work, all that kind of stuff. So I agree with you for sure. I think though, when it comes to things like B2C for products, I just went and bought a new axe for Tulamine. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had no, there's nothing that company, like, they weren't going to reach out to me. So it depends, but I agree with you. I think that, and I think it's the younger generation, and it's again, not meant to offend anybody, is it's not gonna, like, business is all about relationships. Sales is all about
I
relationships.
think it will continue.
I do. So I think, well, it's okay. 100%. So here's I listened to Theo Vaughn. I don't know if any of you listen to Theo Vaughn. He's a podcaster, he's a comedian, he's super funny. I was listening to his podcast, and what's happened with all this digital crap throughout the pandemic. Sorry, I use profanity sometimes. We'll bleep that out, right? No? Okay, no, I just leave it. Is because the comedy sector transitions so much onto YouTube and online that all of a sudden now it's all about shows. So, like, in person, go to shows. That's how comedy is getting taken in right now. That's how true fans are being made, longevity, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like I said, use them now if it works. But 2 years from now, when every salesperson who's gone through what's his name, Grant Cardone's program, 10X or whatever, is now sending these videos out, and everyone's getting 30 emails a day, and now it's at the point where they're going to my spam folder because Google realizes I don't care about them. It's going to be that person that shows up and knocks on your door that's going to get your business, right? So I think it's going to go through a phase. I do, like, yeah, but I agree. And I think for a lot of business, it's about relationship building. But there's also, like, you know, we've gotten clients here for this shared workspace through ads, right? If someone's searching for something and you can see that they're searching for it, there's a way to get them online. But for building relationships and things like that, it's like, once you get them in the door, once they've been to your website, once they call, once they send one email, what do you do then, right? And that's where integrating a sales process that's a little bit more traditional, I think, is valuable. So I do things like that. I send out, I stupidly sent out knives one time, kitchen knives with my logo on them. That didn't go over well. But I try those. I try those things all the time. I thought it was cool, but then someone told me, someone told me after I sent them all that you're supposed to put like a quarter in it or something, because when you send a knife, it's not meant to offend people. I don't know. Anyways, this was a few years ago. It was last year, but
Put their name on it.
right, yeah. So no, I didn't go that far. But yeah, like, you know, showing up and all that stuff still has its yeah, as a younger entrepreneur, I realized that build it and they will come doesn't exist. Like it can for a moment. Like you can get into some businesses online and things like that where you can make a crap load of money. But we were just talking about Amazon earlier, even, right? Like when you're an Amazon affiliate, and I know guys that have made millions as Amazon affiliates since Amazon's inception. One day they just said, hey, guess what, affiliates? Your commission was 11%, now it's 7%, and you have nothing you can do. That's it, right? So I think it's not always the way the business goes.
So I have a question.
Yes.
You said that we can use ChatGPT for SEOs for choosing the words, right?
Yes.
Great, so since we're bidding for the words, if all of the businesses that do the same thing or are using or are getting the same words that they should use, doesn't that make the bidding higher for the words?
So we're talking about PPC, so buying ads on Google?
Buying out-
Yeah, so SEO is the organic side, paid PPC is the bad. No, that's okay, just so that I don't. No, it's all good. I just don't want to go down the wrong path. The good question, but then what happens is when we talk about those other factors that are important. So when that auction happens, the bidding process, Google's saying, what is the landing page that they're sending me to? What are they willing to pay? What is the historical value of that page and things like that as well. So it's not necessarily always driving the cost up. Like, I don't think that there's enough people pulling the exact same keywords, especially if so like, what sector are you in?
We're a distributor, so we sell different products.
So you distribute, like, you facilitate distribution of a variety of products in all the sectors. So, the way that you would engineer your prompts, but no, even backtrack. If you go, I don't think that process would result in driving the bidding up, because there's so many layers to that stack that would differentiate what you're bidding on versus what someone else's output will be bidding on. So what I mean by that is, if you start at Google AdWords Planner and look at the areas that people are searching, your areas might be a little bit different than a competitor, right? So that's, now that we have one differentiator. Then you have your business, what you're sending people to, that's another differentiator. So then by the time you get to that ad creation and bidding, I don't feel like you have an exact replica. Yeah, I think you're still safe. Yeah.
Even with like an identical business, essentially, like you guys are supplying the exact same products, like you don't think that would give you the same, like you're asking the same things, right? Like you're not gonna get the same.
I've never gotten the same thing twice from it. It always is attempting to be creative like a human. I mean, there could be some likelihood, but the reality is that if you're HVAC, some HVAC companies in my experience spend a lot of money on PPC search ads.
Yeah.
You're getting the search data, the keywords you want to bid on
Yeah.
from Keyword Planner. So everyone has access to that anyways, right? Yeah.
Right. I mean, even like that's, or at least for us, anyways,
Yeah.
we're realizing it's
Oh,
useless.
Yeah, right.
Like you said, with a B2B, like the BC, like there's no point in us really advertising at this point. We're trying to figure out like, okay, how do we get in front of these people now? How do we like get there so we can start this relationship with them, right? Like, because we get like a property manager, majority of the time, they're not looking it up. They're going on the list, they know somebody else, they're calling someone, right?
So
like,
I get that all the time, because I do run ads for a lot of B2B service providers, and I'm not selling you anything. I'm just telling you what I would say is, what I do then is I say, you know what, you're absolutely right. It's going to cost you $50 a click to get a search click. That's going to cost you $1,000 a day and maybe a client a week. Your ROI is going to be in the loss. So what I would do is I would come up with a remarketing advertising strategy that supports your sales system. So you guys are out there creating relationships, getting people, hey, they're going to go to your website and look at you. Now they've gone to your website and they've been pixeled. Now you put ads in front of them the next day when they're on the province reading an article about the Canucks.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a video, you as the owner talking about
Yeah,
your
yeah.
business, culture, things like
Yeah.
that, right? That's where digital ads can come into play, I think, a lot more.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
like even for I worked with John Deere in the States years ago, and it was the same thing. Like they're like, we don't need you to run PPC ads to sell these machines.
Yeah.
We need to convey our culture to potential people and to
Yeah.
the buyers that are already out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Why do you
So,
use them over everybody else?
Exactly, right? So
Right.
then you create a remarketing strategy where you're speaking, you're putting content strategically in front of people that you know are warm,
Yeah.
right? As opposed to cold. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I would create YouTube content, create YouTube videos,
Yeah.
and then run them as pre-roll. That's all. That's what I would do. Like $1 a day, and you're gonna get every website visitor that goes to your website is gonna see you on YouTube the next time they go on there.
And like, given convenience, what you do daily for actually appearing, organically also supports that.
Yeah.
Because we're constantly getting new content, constantly
Yeah.
adding up,
Yeah.
just.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if you can create a process internally, operationally to continually build content, that's always my recommendation. Like I always tell clients, don't pay me to do this. If you can do it, if you can put an hour out of your week every week to put out a new blog post,
Yeah.
just do it, because over time, it's going to improve your authority, right? And there might come a time where you do need to run ads because it's just the way it is. And now you've had so much authority, it's gonna bring your costs down. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
I want to circle back to the statement about getting conventional way of doing business versus this online mania thing that's happening. But it's going to the same thing about your target segment. In my business, we have both. We have like end users, people, and we have businesses. So if I'm going to the business and talking about hiring foreign workers because of that labor shortage, they will never go to Google and just hiring labor from outside of Canada.
No.
That will never happen. So it's more about still conventional knocking doors, chamber of commerce, meeting, events. People trust you personally because this is not.
Yeah, there's too
still
much
a
risk.
service-based thing.
Yeah, there's too much
Like,
risk, right? Like they know that if they were to just search for someone and
but
cold
they
out.
go back and search you back.
Yeah.
So you have to have Google reviews,
Yeah.
good online presence.
Yeah, at least have the presence there.
Yeah.
So you're not scamming.
Yeah,
Okay.
No, the only thing I find now is with the price check, that's crazy. Whatever you're quoting has to be, market level. And you'll get caught out.
oh yeah, because it takes what, 5 minutes to email 10 companies for a quote now, right? Like I printed some signage like that and I emailed every printer. Like for quotes. And then you print this kind of stuff? Well, I didn't know that. Well, Jody did even.
Well, I gotta talk to my marketing manager.
Yeah. Right? They yeah, no, don't do that.
That's
You can
very.
Don't do that. So I'll speak to it first, and then you can add. I just sent an email last night to a client because they said the same thing. They said they just launched a food truck out in Chilliwack. It's an incredible food truck. And we're talking about their Google reviews, and they're getting like one a week when people are there, which is great. And they're like, well, let's just get everyone we know to put a Google review in. But the reality is that where Google is now, and I know this for sure, is that they know. So for the first thing, there's an algorithm now. So they go, okay, is this person leaving the review on their cell phone? If yes, I'm going to initiate this algorithmic workflow. And it goes, has that cell phone ever been in presence of this location? All that kind of stuff. So you don't want to do that. Like, honestly,
What if you're an online business?
has this person ever been to their website? How many times has this person been pixeled on their website? I would never recommend buying reviews ever.
Bad for the face. To summarize, it's bad for the companies in Instagram, Google, whatever you do. It's just not the way to go.
I was involved in hip hop in my younger days, touring act. And this is going back to MySpace. So a lot of you probably don't know what MySpace was. It was Facebook before Facebook was cool, but it was really good for artists. And you could buy followers. So I bought followers, and it was like an absolute disaster and a waste of time. But when you're at this, I get it 100%. But the reality is that like the longevity, I only have 4 Google reviews for my business, but I think I counted like 275 referrals over the last 2 years from people that I've worked with through the last 15 years. So I think that's probably a regret that I almost have about my younger days is I didn't spend a lot of time really understanding business. and understanding like the value of being authentic and providing value, because I want to exist. I want to be doing what I'm doing now when I'm 65 at my cabin, fishing and drinking rum. So it's just and I'm only stern on that because I would firmly tell you that it's a bad decision. Like, yeah, but don't do it. Don't do it.
No, the way we do it is we're asking for reviews based on the service. And actually what you said is biting us back because 70% of our clients are outside of Canada. We never personally met and we never been in Canada yet.
They're leaving you a review. And
So
Google
if you
hates that.
review, then these reviews never shows up.
That's right. They don't, that's where they're at now, is they actually don't show up, and you can get flagged and you can get de-authorized and penalized and all that kind of stuff with the SEO. So it's not a good idea for sure. There's if anyone doesn't know, if you don't have a Google My Business listing, you all should, and most people do. When you log it, when you Google your own business signed into Chrome with your email address, it will bring you to a page where you can manage it. And there's actually a link that says get reviews, and it gives you a very short URL you can send to people, and it brings them right to a spot where they can leave a review for your business. 100, if you're using a CRM, if you're emailing customers who like, I would put it in your signature, like leave us a Google review, or if you're dealing with a customer. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. It hasn't been a focus for me. It is now because it's so important for SEO. But yeah, I would never don't buy followers. Never buy followers on social media. There's actually, and this isn't about social media, but boosting posts on Instagram is like the ultimate way right now to get new followers. It has not been up to date. But they introduced this is just a geeky tidbit. They introduced a new tactic when you go to boost a post on Instagram that's called, that sets your objective to profile views. And what that does is it only puts the ads in front of people that potentially are going to go to your profile and likely follow you. So their boost is going through a transition and doing pretty well. That's a good way to get followers. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it is. It's brand new. I just did it because I have been firmly against boosting for the last 5-6 years because I like to use Meta's ad manager where I have data and stuff. But they've, AI and the pixel, it's a lot better now. So yeah, I put all my motorcycle videos in front of people with the boost now, and it helps get me followers. So I'm trying to, I hit that 3,000 mark. I want to feel like a celeb. Any other questions? I feel like you all should get to pizza and beer.
It's really helpful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, any questions or anything, just shoot me an email. I'll donate time to help you set up HubSpot. If you don't have a CRM, it's super quick.